you are a native son or daughter in the state and your parents were in active military duty at the time that you were born, and one of them was a Mississippi resident, you would be eligible for a resident lifetime hunting license. That's the basic explanation of the bill. We've got the department here. I'm going to ask them if that is if I'm explaining that correctly.
That's fine. People who moved out right there, get the rest of life together. Look to come up earlier, some of the gentlemen who moved out right, and we might have to.
Okay. With that being said, is there any discussion on the bill? No discussion. Is there a motion? Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor? Opposed? Bill carries. Second bill is House Bill 515. And what this bill would do is it just adds that training facilities could be used for expenses from increases in license fees. We also have the department here, and I see my friend shaking his head yes, so I assume that I've explained that correctly. Is there any discussion on the bill? No discussion. For a motion? Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor? Opposed? That bill carries. The third bill is going to be House Bill 516. Basically, what this bill does is it is dropping the requirement saying that to be a law enforcement officer with the department, it's changing from 5 years to 2 years of service. And the department seems to be happy with that as well. I think that'd be a great way in aiding and recruiting new officers. Is there any discussion on the bill? No discussion. Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're going to kind of skip around here just a little bit, and I'm going to go to House Bill 769, and I'm going to I'm going to recognize myself on that one. This one deals in renaming of a wildlife management area. It was formerly known as the Tuscumbia Wildlife Management Area. It's in Alcorn County, and that would be changing it to the Harvey Moss Wildlife Management Area at Tuscumbia. This bill comes to us from the House, and I've spoken with the senator that represents this area. She had no problems with it. But with that being said, is there any discussion from the committee? Senator Younger.
Who's Harvey?
To my knowledge, Harvey Moss was a representative. I'm being told yes, he was a state representative in the past.
He's passed now.
I do not believe he is passed.
No,
No,
he's still with us,
Renaming one after.
just not in the legislature.
that is the bill that come from the House.
Is he in the Pete?
No clue.
Chairman, I just asked that question because general practice in the Senate is not to name it. Chairman's recommendations.
I understand, and I do not stand in the way of my committee doing its work. I will not put anything down your throat. So if it's the will of the committee, it's the will of the committee. So with that, any more discussion?
There's nothing in here for further discussion of this. This would be all right.
That's correct. And I would be open to any amendments or anything that you have, Senator. For a motion?
I would offer an amendment, just go ahead and put a first figure in it so we can actually discuss this a little bit further before we hit the floor with it. I really hate for there to be a cluster on the floor. I have some concerns on that. So I would have an amendment to replace reverse repealer.
Absolutely. So you heard the amendment. The amendment is to add a reverse repealer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You've heard the amendment. Now for a motion. Motion's title sufficient to pass as amended. All in favor? Opposed? That bill carries. We're going to go to House Bill 904. Get to the lunch. What this would do, this comes to us from the Kemper County Board of Supervisors. This would be transferring Kemper Lake to the Kemper County Board of Supervisors. Has anyone been in contact with the department on this issue? The department, would you like to say anything or?
We lease Kemper County Lake, the Board of Supervisors.
Okay,
Tommy Valley Water Management District would like to get out of the lake owns business. And so they would like to grant Kemper County Board of Supervisors that facility. That we get. And we have no objection to that.
you've heard the department. Any questions?
I would just say that the Tom Bigby Water Management District is also in agreement with that and has expressed the same to me on multiple occasions.
Thank you. For a motion,
Carlos Fisher did that.
motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor? Opposed? That bill carries. We will now go to House Bill 923, and I will recognize Senator Suber this time to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Basically, this bill is renaming the fish hatchery North Mississippi up by Enoch Lake. Bob Tyler Fish Hatchery, on line 10 and lines 49 through 50. Mr. Tyler's been on the foundation for a while and was instrumental with this fish hatchery, and I would highly recommend this change.
Yes, sir.
Is Mr. Tyler still living?
Just barely.
I'd offer the same amendment that was offered earlier for consistency out of this committee. I would offer reverse repealer.
Before we get to that amendment, any other discussion on the bill? All right, since there's no further discussion, you've heard the amendment, and that is to add a reverse repealer. All in favor? Opposed? That amendment carries. Now for motion. Yes, Senator.
Mr. Chairman, just to be clear, there's obviously a lot of co-sponsors on this bill coming over from the House. That is no reflection on Mr. Tyler at all, and it may be something we strip out on the floor without issue. I just want to make sure that's understood. We're just trying to be consistent with what we did on the prior bills.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I would agree with him.
Any further discussion? For a motion?
Not sufficient do pass
As amended.
as amended.
Motion is title sufficient do pass as amended. All in favor? Opposed? That bill carries. We will now go back to House Bill number 517. And I'll recognize Senator Suber to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a strike all, same language we passed out of the committee earlier in the session. Identified guiding services of fresh water. $500 fee for residents, a $2,000 fee for non-residents. And the other part is lines 45 through 53, where you'd have to have a decal of $250 applied to the boat. And it's, like I said, same language we had earlier.
Any discussion on the bill? For a motion?
Strike all.
Motion is title sufficient do pass strike all. All in favor? Opposed? Bill carries. Now we're going to go back to House Bill 979. And I'm going to explain this one to you, give you a little backstory on it. This bill comes to us, and this has been a problem in the past, and as archery hunting becomes very much more popular in the state, and just for other reasons, hunting itself is very, very popular. The chances of wounding a deer and not finding it for several hours is something that is fairly prevalent. It happens pretty often. And there has been an issue to where when you were recovering your deer after hours, and you would find that the deer is wounded to the point that it cannot go and is sitting there suffering, There's been a discussion on whether it is legal or not to shoot that animal at that point to dispatch it. This bill seeks to clarify that. We have some amendments from the department and right now, what I intend to do, I'm going to explain to you what some of these amendments are. So we have a proposed strike all, but I have some more language that I think needs to be addressed into this. And I'm going to offer some amendments as we go in section 1, subsection A, when it talks about what is legal and are not to use, and it's basically dealing with lighting devices being illegal. We want to add a FLIR, which is a forward-looking infrared or thermal device, and that's a heat-seeking device used to pick up heat signatures on the deer. So we want to add that section to this. Also in subsection B, the forward-looking infrared FLIR or thermal imaging device, that language carries again to that point. You would then go over to section 6, and I'll read you the language word from word. It shall not be unlawful for any licensed or exempt hunter or tracker to track or pursue a deer that was lawfully shot and wounded during legal hunting hours into the night after legal hunting hours, and to dispatch the deer if the deer is found and is still alive. A licensed or exempt hunter or tracker tracking or pursuing a wounded white-tailed deer into the nighttime hours may use reasonable means to assist the pursuit, including but not limited to lights and blood-trailing tracking dogs. If tracking blood-trailing dogs are used, no more than 2 dogs may be used. If the animal being tracked is discovered to still be alive but wounded, the hunter tracker may dispatch the animal by using a handgun with a barrel no longer than 6 inches and chambered in a caliber no larger than .45 caliber. For the purposes of this section, a licensed hunter or licensed tracker shall mean a hunter or tracker with a proper license for hunting white-tailed deer. Nothing in the subsection shall be construed as allowing an individual to trespass upon the lands of another while in pursuit of an injured or wounded white-tailed deer. Pretty simple amendment, but
That's a new number 6. Is that right?
yes,
Okay.
that is a new number 6. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Yes, sir.
So, I mean, is this gonna cause any more problems? You know, somebody hunting at night and saying, oh, I was just tracking a deer.
Would the department like to speak to this?
I'll be glad to speak to it. I'm sorry, it's just to clarify, we have an issue going on right now where obviously they're out there doing it. And it's just gonna give us guidelines that we can go by to enforce it. Those that are breaking the law, obviously are breaking the law, those are doing what they need to do.
Just give them an excuse, or somebody who's breaking the law, giving them an out.
Any other questions? For a motion on the amendment? Move to adopt the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment carries. So now I want to move to adopt the strike all. All in favor? Opposed? Now for a motion on the strike all.
Title sufficient due pass as amended.
Yes. Title sufficient due pass as amended. All in favor? All opposed? And that concludes today's meeting. For a motion?
Rise report.
Rise report.
At 970, 976.